Okay, I did another biography exercise, and this one was, and it was another counted up one, so I start the timer, start writing, and then end. Writing ended before it hits a certain minute marker, and so it turned out to be 20 minutes this time. So the 20-minute timed write, and the subject this time was Hubert Kós. And I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle. I'm filming this Tuesday, 25 June 2024, and I wrote this today, Tuesday, 25 June 2024. So here we go. Biography exercise. 20-minute timed write on Hubert Kós. Written 25 June 2024 by Tanis Coralee Leonhardi. Writing started 6:29 a.m. Hubert Kós. Kós Hubert. I, Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers of Seattle, was watching videos of races and interviews of the 2022 Swimming World Cup on YouTube. The man, Hubert, was his first name or family name. Fina presented all the names in the same formatting, meaning as name formatting for Hungarians was different than other places, Fina presented it wrong. Or was it right? After a summer writing and publishing about Hungarians, why was I having trouble with this handsome native Hungarian, 100% pure by ancestral origins? In 2015, I received a graduate school offer from the Georgia Institute of Technology. When they flew me out to visit, one of the guys I met with was named Chris Hubert. You know what? I thought to myself, maybe I can swap out the entire memory trace in my noggin from my life in graduate school via this guy, Hubert Kós. So, a switch I invoked. I did not know if it was possible, so I even prayed to God that it would work. Not that I would ever have the chance to see if it worked, though. Hubert Kós was Hungarian and I was living in Seattle. I did not know if I would ever see him swim in person. I had not even expected a high-level competition in my over 29 years of existence. At the 2023 Men's Pac-12 Conference Swimming Championships, held about a 45-minute to 1 hour and 45-minute drive from where I was living in the Seattle area, I decided to photograph a few individuals. In the 400-yard individual medley, Leon Marchand was on my list. So I was taking a few pictures of people in lane 4 and the heats before him for practice until I saw him on the pool deck. I took one picture of a guy. Then once the race started, I alternated between watching the race and looking for Leon. The crowd started cheering. Loud cheering. The competitors were approaching the finish. I looked over at the timing board and saw the name Kós Hubert. I got one picture of him before he got out of the water. That moment, when I saw his name, and it was an instant click after my problems the previous year. It felt like a waveform collapsing, a spike of hope, a ray of light. The first time I felt like I might be okay in a long time, that I might be able to recover from bad things that have happened to me and replace them in my life story with things and people that are worthwhile. In March 2024, I spectated him in person a couple of days at the 2024 Men's Pac-12 Conference Swimming Championships, which were held at the same place. I videoed him this time. In one warm-up session, he waited until I showed up to get in the water and chose a lane closer to where I was sitting in the front row. I felt comfortable in his presence. I stayed all the way to the end of competition on the last day of the championships. He pulled off a Lorenzo Mora, swimming a fast time for a 100-yard freestyle portion of the 4x100-yard freestyle relay. I was just happy to see him swim. Riding ended 6:49 a.m. Total time 20 minutes. Yeah, so he's the first person where I was like, I just want to everything that happened in graduate school, and I'm gonna do it all through Hubert Kós. Not that I'm ever gonna meet the guy, so I don't actually know if that's ever gonna happen. And then he was like, 5 months later, I was like right there in person, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it worked, right? Like, it was just, my brain went like in a good, not like the snap way with Ilya Crew, and this was like the waveform collapse. Okay. This is at least slightly quantum mechanics reference. Waveforms collapsing / thermodynamics, whatever one's base is. That is a, yeah, that kind of a reference. So yeah, and so I was like thinking, I was like, another one, so making it relevant for a more like generalized notes on biography / autobiography would be, so if I didn't want to include the name of the school I attended for graduate school, which I've talked about, and like kind of settled on like something that's like true of the reputation at the time, like that it was talked about at the time, but it's not like necessarily negative, but it does provide like additional context of like me being there. All right, there's another way I could do it. Right, as the school colors were blue and yellow, right? So it could be like the blue and yellow, but then that runs risks of like something that has a blue and yellow color scheme that's important in my life story, like Sweden. Right? So, but I was tormented in the blue and yellow, right? Because their school color, so I actually had, you know, blue and yellow. Yeah, right. But then I think each of the schools in the system have a different shade of like blue and yellow. So yeah, but that's something I was thinking about. I was like, it could be like, make sure that the abuse and discrimination and harassment I experience are tied with the color scheme blue and yellow, because that is the color scheme of the entity that it happened in. So there we go. Yeah. Anyway. But then what I need to get the shades of blue and yellow correct. In today's world, about some things, people seem it's just blue and yellow, and then forget about the nuances actually matter, and it mattered to the school I attended. Like, they were not sloppy and lazy. Like, they had specifics, okay? Anyway, so that's my biography exercise, 20-minute timed write on Hubert Kós, written 25 June 2024.